forgot to record this. Oh. Welcome everyone to the Minnesota SCORE Chapter's webinar. This week, we are happy to have Brittany Flavel, who is going to be presenting on identifying the golden ticket client. I can't wait to hear what Brittany has to say. But before we get to Brittany, we have to do a little housework. So Brittany, if you click, please. I just want to tell you all a little bit about SCORE. It's a 50-plus-year-old organization that is a partner of the Small Business Administration. We offer free, confidential business mentoring, and that's free forever. You know, some people say, oh, this is the third session. Are you going to start charging soon? We never charge. So apply for a mentor. Our chapter, which is the Minnesota chapter, has nearly 90 volunteers waiting to help you. So apply, please. Our chapter, we're very proud to say, was recently recognized as a district chapter of the year. Our chapter, click Brittany. There's one more on here. Since 1964, SCORE has helped over 11 million clients, and we want to help you. We can help you in all phases of your business, whether you're thinking about a business, and that's a lot of our clients. They woke up one morning and had an idea, and then they contacted us. And we help them with the whole research and planning. Or you've opened a business and you want to move on. You want to grow your business, or lastly, you're interested in filling or closing your business. Next week, we have a webinar dedicated just to that. Whether you're selling or closing, don't walk away from your business, or don't buy a business without talking to the team. You may be overpaying or not selling your business for enough. I'd like to encourage you to visit our website, which is minnesota.score.org. There you can request your mentor. You can find additional workshops or webinars. You can locate recorded podcasts or more resources in our library. We have lots of templates and other things that are of value to you. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, and community partners. It's an ever-growing list of organizations that want to help us help you. So please, if you have an opportunity, support these organizations. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Brittany. Brittany, take it away.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Brittany Flavel, and I will be showing you how to identify the golden ticket client. So a little background on me. I have a giant family, a little micro ranch. I do own my business. I'm still a practicing business owner, and I am a SCORE mentor as well. I've got over 20 years experience with successful sales, marketing, and finance. And when I opened my business, I basically brought all of that into one function. And now I'm able to teach and give back, which is probably my most favorite thing outside of working my own business and my family. So just a little bit of the table of contents. We're going to go over what is a golden ticket client. How do you find out who your golden ticket client is? We're going to do a little group math because that's always fun to do. And I'd actually really like to see each of you walk away today with actually knowing who that golden ticket client is for you, so that when you allocate any ad spend or marketing budget towards anything for the rest of this year, that you're honing in on that particular client profile. And I think you will see a dramatic increase in your sales overall. So then we're going to go over using your data that you currently work with. And I want to invite you that after this, if you weren't able to make it through all of your math and we haven't totally honed in on who your client is, I'm available to you to help you actually determine that still. So I want to make sure, again, I'll just reiterate that all of you walk away knowing who that client is, so that we can make a true impact on your sales for this year. And then we're going to show you how to apply your research to your marketing. And then we'll go over some questions and some resources that Minnesota SCORE has for you. So what is a golden ticket client? So some of you have probably heard the term target market. And I like that term, but I've also found in my own experience with sales and business development and all those things that every time someone would ask me, who is my target market, I'd say everyone, because everyone could, use this product, or everyone could be a potential client, and I didn't want to, cut anyone out. So I kind of decided to take the idea of a target market and hone it in on what looks like to be like a client profile, and then call that the golden ticket client, because that kind of gave me an idea of where I should spend my marketing dollars, really kind of seeking out that type of client and where they might be and where they might live and what they might like to do and all of those kinds of things. And I ended up being pretty wildly successful over several different industries. I worked in medical marketing. I've worked in new home construction and remodel. I've worked in finance with a pretty decent position with the banks. I've done quite a few things now, senior living, sales, all kinds of different stuff. So, that client, that dreamy client, the one you wish you had 1,000 of, or at least one once a day, the one that comes in and they love your service or your product. They feel so blessed that they were able to meet you or see you come to your business. They're happy to purchase. They have the money to purchase right now. They want to tell all their friends about you. And they're just like that client that you even feel like you could really build a good client business relationship with. That's the client we're trying to identify. So as I'm talking about this, I want you all to kind of visualize in your mind that client, like who that person is for you, or who the couple of people are for you in your business, and really think about them, because that's the kind of person that we want to try to scale down and really get to know. And then at the end of this, that's where we want to put all those marketing dollars and ad spend efforts towards. So I reverse engineer target market by utilizing what you really want to make like your overall goals and dreams for what you'd like to make income wise, actually. And from there, we identify exactly how many of these clients you would have to service in a work day in a year. And we go from there, and it's kind of a neat experiment. And it helps you determine also if you ever want to add any other services, or some people have decided they're in the complete wrong line of business because they're never going to meet that goal. So all kinds of really cool things come out of this. And this is something that I practice with all of my clients and my business credit company, just as an exercise to help them reach those goals and dreams that we're trying to accomplish with their business credit. So there are 3 factors for determining what your golden ticket client looks like. They have a pain point, okay? To get somebody who is positioned to where they are so excited to have found your business, and they want to spend the money, and they have the money, and if it's a program you have, they want to work the program. If it's a gym you own, they want to show up all the time. They have experienced some kind of pain point. And it can look different for every market or industry. It really depends on what your business is. But I can help you identify pain points, and we can look at like who those clients are that you're visualizing right now, your golden ticket clients, your favorite clients, and kind of think about what was their pain point, what brought them to your business, and why were you such a fantastic solution for them? Because that's the starting point. They have a pain point, and your business has the right solution for them. So the second factor is that they have the money to pay for it now. So as business owners, sometimes I think we get into business because at our core, we enjoy helping, and we know we can probably help better than, you know, somebody else we've seen helping in that fashion, or there's something more we can give back. And we want to help everyone. You know, we want to solve that problem for whatever our service or product is. We want to solve that for everyone. But really, we need to be spending our ad dollars and our marketing dollars towards that client who's able to pay for the service or the product now and wants to do it now, because now is when we need to be making the money. You can always have clients you have great relationships with that maybe you've worked with for 6 months or 8 months or, you know, a year or multiple years, and eventually they buy down the line. And yes, that kind of farming of clientele is a really important process, and I do definitely advocate for that. However, when you're spending money for ads or for marketing, you are really trying to go after the client who can buy right now. Eventually, your ads and your marketing will reach someone enough times who maybe didn't have the pain point that then they will seek out your product or service. But what you're trying to do with those ad dollars and marketing dollars is attract the client who can afford it now. That's the goal. So your business has to have the right price, right? And whatever your golden ticket client is that you're visualizing in your mind, they felt and decided that you had the right price, even if it was a higher price than the competition, even if it was a medium price, you know, against the competition. They still felt that whatever you were offering or who you were as the business owner was worth that money, and they were happy to pay it right now. So they're also going to actually utilize the product or the service. So they're not going to experience any buyer's remorse. It's not going to be the gym client who had a pain point, they signed up, but then they never showed up to the gym. Okay. They're not going to be the client who, let's see, bought a gift card to your restaurant and then never actually used it or gave it to their friends. They're going to be the person who actually comes and utilizes the product or the service. And that is really key for us, because we could all sell a product or a service, but if someone's not actually utilizing it, it kind of takes away from the integrity of our business, because they're really not getting to build a relationship with that product or service, and they will not be able to be an advocate for us later, where they could go write a review or share their great story of working with you as a business owner with their 5 friends over here. So as you're visualizing your golden ticket client, I want you to think about the one who had the pain point. They were able to pay for it right away, and they were happy to. And they also utilized your product or service, and maybe they even gave you feedback on that, like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. Thank you so much. It solved so many issues. And they shared that with you. So let's get into finding your golden ticket client. So I want to take a minute and I want to go into our chat. If everybody would mind just typing in what your business is, that can kind of help me while we're doing the math piece. So take a moment and go into the chat and just go ahead and type in what your business is. So restaurant, gym, retail store, AC company, whatever you have going on, so that we can go ahead and start applying some of that here. Cleaning, health coach, awesome. Realtor, retail, after school STEM, educational, great. Health and wellness, financial services. Okay, beautiful. Notary signing, okay, and retail. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Gun shop, okay. Very cool. So we have some kind of unique businesses here. So that's great. So for the after school STEM education, obviously your client is the one who pays for the service, right? So you're going to be looking at the parent as the client, not the child attending as the client. Or perhaps if your after school STEM education is something where you actually work with the school system and they are the client paying, then that would be your client, you know, the actual school system. Health and wellness products, okay. For Rashonda, are your products sold online or retail in a store? Let's see, okay, online. Okay, great. Okay, notary signing, retail, recreation, hiking, backpacking, I assume, camping, social activities, retail clothing. Okay, awesome. All right, guys. So let's talk about all of these things. So first of all, I'd like everyone to type into the chat, how much money do you want to make? What would make you super happy? Just what would make you happy and you would feel accomplished, and maybe your financial woes would be, you know, taken care of, or it's just a number that is like a goal number in your head. Just whatever the amount is. Go ahead. Okay, 10K monthly, perfect. So just put what the amount is and then whether it's monthly or yearly. Okay. Kimieta, is that for a year or is that monthly? Okay, Lincoln, 100K, awesome. 100,000 plus sales, okay. 150, okay. All right, beautiful. So everybody's gonna take a piece of paper or type it into your cell phone notes if you'd like to do that. And we're gonna go ahead and write down the amount that we wanna make. Okay. And our next step is, it's very important to understand the percentage of your revenue that is actually net profit, right? Because that's where we determine exactly what we're currently making off of a product or a service. Okay, so when I say net revenue, I don't want your full sales for the year. I want you to take the average client value. Okay, so for let's see, for a real estate agent, so if you typically right now make about, just for round numbers, let's say you're typically making 50,000 a year right now, and you have maybe like 6 clients that comprise that 50,000. That's kind of what I want you guys to think about. And if you do a lot of volume, then you'd want to think about the average clients a day who buy. And you know this, if you're working in your business, you would know, like I normally do 2 sales a week, or I normally do a sale a day, and the average price point is 500, or the average price point is, you know, 100, or whatever you guys have going on in your space. But that's a very important piece there. We need to know the average client worth, okay? So like for round numbers, if we want to make 100,000 and our average client worth is $1,000, that would mean we have to have 100 clients, okay? And we're talking our net client worth, right? So what we actually end up making off of a single client after our expenses come out. So if the average client worth from a net perspective is $1,000, and we want to make $100,000 for the year, we'd have to have 100 of those golden ticket clients, right? Uncertain, at least 50,000 for the first year. Okay, that's just fine. It's okay to have climbing goals too. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to break down how many clients you actually have to sell to, right? In any given day or week or year, to achieve what you really want to make in that year. So this is a very important piece to this, okay? Somebody mentioned they were in financial services. Okay, so Kimyetta, okay, so Kimyetta, what kind of business is your financial services? Just because sometimes those things are like similar to real estate. Okay, so insurance. Okay, got it. Okay, so you're going to have a little bit different style of math for this practice because you have residual income, right, that comes from a client staying on. And there is an actual way to do that kind of math. For the gal or the guy, or let me check back here. Sorry, guys, I just need to scroll for a second. So for Betsy, you're a realtor. So your percentage is a certain amount. So you're going to want to look at the average cost of the home that you sell. Okay. That's what you're going to want to kind of look at. And then your golden ticket client is going to be the client who can afford that home value, right? And then we're going to see, is it realistic? Okay. So Rashonda, your health and wellness products, what's the average, like the average value of a single client to you after your expenses come out? Have you ever looked into that? Do you know what that is? And it's okay if you guys aren't sure about that. A lot of times we are so busy. Okay, so you're not sure, you don't understand what that is. Okay, so that's fine. So business owners typically are so busy doing what they do that we don't necessarily work on our businesses. We're always working in our businesses. And we're kind of like spinning our wheels and trying to, you know, make sure we're making sales and get enough money and this kind of thing. And we're doing the marketing and we're doing everything else. And we forget to work on our business. So I'm glad you spoke up and said that you're not sure, like you don't understand quite what that is. So with your online sales, do you have an expense for the website that you use to do your online sales? This question's for Rashonda again. Okay, you do everything yourself, right? But do you actually pay like a hosting fee at all? Are you paying for any online marketing at all? Okay, no hosting fee, no online marketing. Okay, all right then. So we could kind of safely assume that you probably don't have much expense coming out of your sale. I'll give you an example. A business owner I was working with, their average client value was about $1,000, but they didn't account for the fact that they had a couple of subscription services that they had to pay for to help them with their marketing. So they didn't account for the $30 they spent in their little social media ads. They didn't account for their Canva membership that they paid for. They didn't account for their Zoom account membership that they paid for. And then a couple other, you know, like kind of nuanced items in there, but like how much their business cards cost, all of that kind of stuff. So those are all expenses we have. And the reason I like to identify all of that and separate it out of what we typically make on an average client is because I like to make sure that the amount of clients we're trying to go after is completely and utterly appropriate based on how much of expenses are also coming out. So did that help you understand that a little bit better? Okay, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so then we're going to look at how many days do you work in a year? Okay, there is like the typical work days in a year, but maybe you know that you always take off a week in July, or you always take off 2 weeks in December or something like that. So I want you to kind of think about that. You're going to think about, do you work a Monday through Friday? Okay, how many Monday through Friday days are there in a year? And let's say you don't take off any holidays because you do like retail or direct sales. So working days in a year are going to look like it's 260 working days in a year. Okay. So that means let's say we didn't take off for any holidays. That means that we have 260 days in our year to accomplish our goal of what we'd like to make, right? That 100,000, let's say. And if we know that our client is worth, for round numbers sake, $1,000, our average client after expenses and whatnot is worth $1,000, and we need to get 100 of those clients. And if there is 260 working days in a year, we have to get, sorry guys, 2.5 clients, right? Sorry, we have to get, it's less than that. We have to get, sorry. Okay, so we have to average 0.4. So like, let's say a half a client's worth a day, which really looks like one client every 2 days. Okay. And this is for math's sake. So has everybody been able to kind of arrive at that math? How many clients and how many we have to have in a week? Go ahead and put your numbers into the chat once you've determined that. So the math, I'll go ahead and type it in here for you guys. So we want to make $100,000 a year, let's say, divided by our $1,000 client worth yields 100 clients. Okay, Shanice, you need to have at least 2 classes going every week. So how many clients attend a single class for you? 4 per week, Diane. Okay, great. 2 sales per week, Craig, great. 10 sales per week, Lincoln, great. Minimum 6 kids per class. Okay. So you need 2 classes, minimum 6 kids per class. So Shanice, real quick, who is your actual client? Is that the school system, like the actual, who's your actual client? Let's talk about that for a second. It's either the parent or the principal. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Okay. So does the principal actually refer the parents to you, or does the principal set up the actual class and source all the kids for it for you? Principal can choose to use funds, or the parents can pay privately. You source and market, but you need to buy in from principal to be on campus. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's a little bit different. We're gonna say source and market. Okay, so the principal is really just giving you permission. So we're gonna say that the parents are your client, okay? So you need 2 classes going per week, 6 kids per class. So typically speaking, does a parent unit, either one or single parent or both parents, do they typically have 1 kid in your class or 2 kids in your class? 1, okay. So your client is the parent, and we're gonna consider that if you need 2 classes going per week, that means you need 12 clients, right? And this is to make your goal income, correct? Okay, beautiful. Okay, so we need 12 clients for you per week. That would be your number, okay? Okay. So we got some great answers there. I'm gonna go ahead and move on now. Okay, so we're going to drill them down a little bit more. We're going to hold that number in our head, right? So for my math example, it was the 2.5 clients, okay? So what is their pain point? You guys have been visualizing this golden ticket client in your head, that one you can think of. They were awesome. They were so excited. They paid right away. The yes, 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 I needed you. What was their pain point? Go ahead and share the pain points. I know it's different for every single business, but let's go ahead and share our pain points and see kind of what's going on across the board. So share your business and the pain points. So let's say, like, for the gun shop owner, you would say gun shop, you know, my golden ticket client's pain point was they had a crazy ex they needed to buy a gun to protect themselves from, or something. I don't know.
Brittany, are you saying
Yes.
a pain point is the point at which they will contact you? What
caused them to seek you out, because they like had to have it. So in insurance, the pain point could look like they had a car wreck before and they didn't have the insurance, or they know somebody who had a car wreck and they didn't have insurance, or for the parents with the stem cell program, you know, their child could be, you know, falling behind in their reading, or So here's one, wanting to change their diet was the main pain point. Okay, so that's actually not a pain point, Rashonda. The pain point would be like the moment where they looked in the mirror and they were unhappy, or they went to the doctor and the doctor said, hey, your health is a major issue right now. That's the moment where that pain point happens. Gun shop wants guns that can win 3 gun competitions or long range marksmanship. Okay, Craig. So Craig, so their pain point would be that they're trying to win a competition, right? So that means maybe they lost a competition previously, or they realized if they had a better gun, they could have done better in their competition, or that kind of thing. That's what the pain point looks like. We want innovative after school opportunity, child with additional support needed in science area. Okay, so that's like what they want, right, Shanice? But we're looking for the pain point. So maybe the pain point was they actually felt like, you know, the regular before and after care program at the school wasn't teaching their child anything, and they were getting in trouble, and now they had to, you know, find something different that made them, you know, feel like they were providing their child with something better. Recreation, new to hiking, or struggle to maintain a pre-COVID-19 fitness level. Okay, so the pain point, Cyan, could look like, I wish I could hear you guys so I could ask how to pronounce your names properly. So please forgive me if I don't pronounce your name correctly. So the pain point there could be like they all of a sudden realized they did not have a hobby and they wanted to pick up a new hobby, and they really enjoy, you know, the thought of hiking, or they had a friend who was, but that pain moment is the moment that really causes them to make the change, right? At that point, they now are seeking what they want and they are going to find it, and they kind of become relentless about finding it. So yes, Taryn, great example for real estate mortgage market shifts, those kind of things. All of a sudden, somebody goes, oh my gosh, you know, we have to do something right now because otherwise we might be in a worse position later on. That is a pain point. Chris, health crisis, family member health crisis. Okay, yes, great. That's a pain point. Quite literally, so pain is like a main motivator, and we're not trying to capitalize on someone's pain by any means, but it's important to identify not just the want, but the why they got to the point of the want. Okay, so this could look like, let's see, they're feeling burnt out, physically sore and exhausted, looking for a new way to nurture themselves. Okay, Faye, got it. Okay, frustrated with the process of building a business because of the continual obstacles, fear of starting a venture because of the obstacles. Okay. All right, Lincoln. Yeah, that frustration. So that's a great word to use. So think about the word frustration, like what was their, you know, point of frustration that made them seek out what your business has. That's your pain point. Okay. And it's a very valuable piece to identify for your client. So some people like to call this the target market. I really like to turn it into math, because math means that there's a direct path for accomplishing what we're trying to accomplish. So clients in my business, I'll give you an example. So I have a business credit building business. My client, my golden ticket client pain point is very consistent. It's one of two things. Either they lost everything during the recession and they don't ever want to encounter that again, or they went to apply for something thinking that they had business credit and realized they had none. And that was so frustrating to them to go through that process that now they're seeking out how to build their business credit. Okay. So that pain point identifies a lot of things about my client, right? So we're going to look at, let's see, recognition, health crisis, family member health crisis. Okay, so Chris, drill that down a little bit more. What was the health crisis? Was it like a heart issue? Was it like what? Drill it down a little bit more. You can get really into this, right? So we're visualizing our golden ticket client. And we really want to think about that person or that collective group of people.
Brittany, let me know if
Yeah.
you'd like me to turn on the allow a person to talk. I can do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be great. It could be any health crisis that makes the person realize they have to make a change. Okay. So yeah, so here's, yes, can you turn on the talking part? I like engagement.
I have to turn them on individually.
Okay, can you turn on Chris's for me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Chris. Can you yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How's it going? How are you?
Good, good. So thanks for your participation.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Yes. So let's hone in on, so like, I want you to really, I want to really hone in on just as a matter of practice for the rest of the group. So when you say health crisis and you wrote cancer to acne, all of the above. So I want you thinking about that client that, you know, that was such a breeze for you. It was amazing. It was easy. It was effortless. What was their actual health crisis?
So one person I've helped so far, they had a knee surgery a long time ago, and basically it was just continuously getting worse and worse. And through different diet and stuff, I was able to help them relieve a lot of the pain.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go with that. So like their mobility was affected, right? That was a huge piece of that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the reason we want to hone in on that pain point as, and I want you to think about it now across this group of people that you've helped where it's been effortless and they were so excited to have you and they just rave about you now. Did it all relate back somewhat to mobility or somewhat to pain in the body?
Well, I'm still fairly new. I'm just getting my business off the ground. I'm kind of going by people who I've helped in the past before I've even tried to make this a business.
Okay.
But I would say it's generally people who, who they've been struggling with weight gain, or yeah, they have some sort of pain, either, long chronic pain or even acute pains.
Okay. And then tell me again, what is your business that you do?
So I do health coaching, and I
Okay.
use a variety of healing modalities to help them with their, pains or conditions.
Okay, great. So quite literally, they either have pain in their body or maybe mobility issues or like an injury that is kind of causing a group of those things. Okay, great. So we're going to hold on to that, and I'm going to kind of reference some more things moving forward based on that. Okay, so Diane, you can turn his mic off now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chris. That was great. Okay, so I want everyone to notice we actually took like a person, an actual client, and we honed in on what their exact pain point was. And then we want to kind of see if that's kind of a similar thing across that handful of those awesome clients that we've had before. Okay. Now we're going to go on to how much money would that client need to make to afford your product or service. Okay. So you're going to think about your handful of clients again. And Chris, okay, what about helping them change their behavior from bad habits to good habits? So Megan, so that's your function, but that's not a pain point. The pain point would be that their bad habit actually caused some form of like pain for them. And pain doesn't have to be like in the literal sense that their body is hurting. It could be that their financial habits cause them to, ruin their credit, or it could be that their health habits cause them to get gout or something. You know what I mean? So like it can be, think about what it is that you're helping them with, but think about the pivotal moment or pivotal experience that caused them to then need your services. Correct. They had to close their business as a result of poor money management. Beautiful. That's their pain point. Their pain point is that they had to close their business. That's a painful thing. That's something they don't forget. That was, their business, their baby that they worked so hard for. That's their pain point. Okay, great, beautiful. Okay, ooh, sorry guys. Okay, so how much money does your client, that awesome client, need to make to be able to afford your product or service, right? Because it's not just about having the pain point. In our lives of owning these businesses and developing our businesses, we are going to come across a lot of people that have a pain point. But if they can't afford us, it's kind of a moot position for us. Okay. So we also need to think about our golden ticket client is going to be able to pay for that product or service immediately. And that's a really important piece, right? So when we spend our marketing dollars, we need to think about is, who's our average client? I kind of would have thought for my own business, my average client would be a new business owner, right? Because typically they need startup funds and you'd think they'd want to start building their business credit. But the new business owner did not, they hadn't made enough money yet to afford working with me or building their business credit. So that really wasn't my golden ticket client. My golden ticket client then became the client who was actually making like $200,000 a year in their business, okay, as their revenue. So I had to identify that client. So Jamie, I'm just gonna go back to yours here. So pain point is where the client has their own business. And since it is a small business that her and her husband run, they're more and more, they're running more and more, and they need you to clean their house and their business. So this particular client is like 2 separate clients. Okay, beautiful, Jamie. So their pain point could have been that they felt like their home was completely in disarray and they were not able to manage that part of their lives, and they needed your help. And they were so grateful to have you come into their lives and provide that service for them. And you did such a fantastic job on their home that then they wanted to extend you into their business or something like that. So the pain point is where they made the decision to seek you out. So think about the first conversation you had with them. And they could have said, listen, I really need a house cleaner. I am just overwhelmed. I don't have the time to do this anymore. Okay. So their pain point, yes, correct. Just reverse our first conversation. Construction clean, beautiful. Okay, so, and kudos to you. Construction cleans are hard. I have worked in the construction industry, and I think that's just a real talent and skill. And I totally agree. If you can do an awesome construction clean, then you can absolutely clean a house phenomenally. Those are so hard to do. So yes, so the pain point there could have been, if we're talking about the construction clean, did they have a previous cleaner that was not showing up, or they were charging too much, or just not getting the job done, or maybe they'd never, it was a new business. Okay, So their pain point was they needed the service for their clients. That would be the pain point, okay? They had to have that service for their clients and they were a new business. That's fine. That's just fine. So your client, your golden ticket client looks like a new business, okay? I want you to identify that real quick. They're a new business and they needed a construction clean, and that expanded into, you're very welcome, Megan. I'm so glad to help. So that expanded into them wanting you at their home because you had such an amazing reputation with what you were doing for their construction. That's awesome. Okay, so hold on to that. So your client is a new business with the pain point of needing to find your service to provide, and getting your foot in the door first is pivotal, okay? Okay, so going back to how much does that client need to make to afford your product or service? This is going to look a little different for everyone, right? So in, let me see here. So in Jamie's situation, they're a brand new business. That doesn't mean they've had any revenue yet necessarily, or they could have had just very small amount of revenue. Oh, we're at 12:52. Okay, thanks, Diane. Okay, I'll go quicker. We only have one more slide, I think, or two more slides anyway. So, so just hone in around how much money does that client need to make, right? Because in any kind of ad spend or marketing budgets, a lot of times they're asking you about household income, okay? Can their salary be a range? Sure. So like in my business, Lincoln, the revenue can look like anywhere from 200 to $1 million actually makes up my golden ticket client. So that means that when I go to do my ad spend or my marketing budgets, I'm literally doing my target market for that ad spend or marketing budgets is for $200,000 or more, but only up to $1 million, right? Because somebody over $1 million is probably in a different realm of business credit needs, and it's just a moot point to them. Okay, so yes, it can definitely be a salary range. Great question. Okay, and it also might be a household income, Lincoln, so think about that portion too. Okay, so then where does that client congregate? Okay, so this is a really fun question. Think about those clients. Chris, go back and think about your client with the knee issues. Was he spending most of his time, or was she spending most of her time in the doctor's office? That's really key. They have marketing and ad spend for doctors' offices, quite literally. They could have marketing and ad spend for doctors' offices who are only for orthopedic surgeons. That means that is a key place for you to start doing your marketing, because that is your client. Will the recording and slide deck be sent to the participants? Oh, I don't know that question. Diane will have to answer that for us. So then think about what other factors identify that client, okay? If there's anything else that you can think of. And if you need some help, like I said, I know we're getting short on time. So if you need some help, please reach out to me. I do have a SCORE email. It is Brittany, I'll put it in the chat, .Flavel@manasodascore.org. I think that's what it is, manasodascore.org. Yep, I think that's correct. Okay, so I'm going to go to my next slide here. Oh, it's not letting me go. Okay. All right. So using data to help you. Okay. So you write all of that stuff down. I want it all on this piece of paper, right? Because we're really brainstorming here. What time of the year or the week are your sales the highest? So in my business, I know that business owners typically tend to pay and sign up for my services on a Thursday or a Friday. Isn't that bizarre? But it's consistent. It's like, I know every Thursday or Friday, that's when I'm going to get a new client. Okay. What type of social media, blog, or website does your client engage on? Okay. If they don't, let's say you have a client who's really not tech savvy like that, that's okay. Are they having health issues? We have quite a few health businesses in here. Are they spending a lot of time at the doctor? Are they at the primary care trying to figure things out? Are they at or whatever? I just want you to really hone in on where they might be spending time. If they're overweight, do they would like to go to a certain restaurant? Is that the place they always tend to go, or something like that? Or if they're into, recreation, do they spend a lot of time on the meetup website because they're trying to find new things to go and do with, other people in the area? And then I want you to think about the technology you're using to track your company's financials. There's ways that we can utilize that information to help drill down your golden ticket client even more. Okay, you can go back and see when majority of your invoices were paid. Are they typically paid on Thursdays or Fridays? Are they typically paid in the month of March? Do you have the highest sales in December? Like, what kind of stuff is going on? You're welcome, Cyan, my pleasure. Okay, and then we're also gonna, who are the micro influencers for your industry or market? Okay, there are people who are important for the health industry or for the health coaching industry. And you're going to look at them, and you can look at kind of who their followers are and what does that clientele database kind of look like. Okay. So I can actually work this kind of thing like over an entire day with a client of mine to really keep drilling it down and nailing it down. So don't get overwhelmed by that, but just take it as an exercise that you're really getting to know that client that will make your life easiest. And that's where, oh, that's weird. I don't know why it didn't show up. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. So that's where you're going to spend your ad spend and your marketing dollars. Okay, so just kind of in conclusion here. So your advertising and marketing budget should only be spent on your golden ticket client. Okay, so that really in essence could be called the target market. I just don't like that word because it's hard to put a face to a target market. And typically as business owners, we don't like to leave anybody out who could use our services or our products. So when you're doing your ad spend or planning for your social media, I want you to really kind of make sure you're always communicating to the golden ticket client, okay? Because they will start to come by the hordes to seek you out because you have nailed down who they are and where they are and what they're watching and what groups they're on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and that's how we achieve your goal income for the year. And that is like fantastic. So that's all I have for today, guys. Please feel free to reach out. I am here as a resource. If you get really into this and passionate, I kind of nerd out on it, but if you get into it and you want to nail it down even more, I'm there to support you. And yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. Does anybody have questions for our last few minutes?
There is a question. If you click on the Q&A, it's a long one, and it's from anonymous, so I can't.
Q&A, beautiful. As a holistic health practitioner choosing to serve clients virtually, I find that the clients with chronic disease conditions have the biggest pain points, are willing to pay more and for more sessions. Okay, beautiful. That's great. Chronic health conditions. The problem with chronic diseases is that even though I have excellent protocols for many big conditions, flare-ups or things that can go wrong in their highly inflamed bodies is more typically relative to other populations facing illness, which results in their need to call for immediate help for relief. I work alone though, so I don't wish to work at all outside the 9 to 5 and do not want these SOS help calls and emails expecting me to come and help them. Done. So, and I do that so at no cost. Okay, beautiful. So anonymous, what you need is you need a great referral partner who is willing to share some of the money that they're making from those referral clients, and your referral partner needs to be the one willing to work with the client in those after hour periods. Okay. And that could be their golden ticket client is the after hour client. Okay. And that way you're not losing out on your revenue in those moments, but you're still making something and you have a resource for your clients. So it's not like you're leaving them hanging kind of thing. And you're still making money. Great. That's fine. Okay. So hopefully that helped you. And there is nothing wrong with not wanting to work with someone outside of the 9 to 5. We're talking about your golden ticket client, and that looks different for everyone. You're so welcome. My pleasure.
So we have Faye saying, how can you figure out who your ideal client is when you're first getting started? Is this something you can play with trial and error? How do you go about that?
Okay, great question. That is hard to determine unless you can look at the same market or industry, okay? And you want to look at your competitor, okay? And don't feel bad about calling. You can do a little undercover market research and call one of your competitors and go, you know, if you had to identify like what's your average client, like who is that normally goes to you for this service, like what does that person look like, you know, or what are they? Could you please turn on the Zoom live transcript? I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to do that, Diane?
That's been on the entire time.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
not to worry about that, but there is
Okay.
one other question. So I have a question with advertising. Can you use photos of finished work on social media, i.e. I clean a client's house and then I post a picture on Facebook, not the before picture and no identifying information. Do I need client's permission? I have not yet posted anything, just wanted to know.
For cleaning purposes, as long as you're not identifying your client, it's just fine. Just make sure there's nothing identifying in it. Like, so if you take a before picture and they had their mail scattered everywhere, you want to be sensitive to that. You don't want your client's name and address or anything like that in there. But most definitely, like you could clear out like some identifying things from the bathroom, take a photo of the dirty toilet, take a photo of the dirty, you know, shower. And I would definitely always do the before and after, because that's really gonna showcase what you're able to do for them, especially with a construction clean. Yeah.
You can't appreciate an after picture unless you know what the before was like.
Yes, true. Yes, very, very true. But you can get really close in, you know, you can just get in on the grout that's moldy and then you can take a picture afterwards.
Yeah. Lincoln wants to know, how do you see what your competitors are doing in your industry? Okay,
great. So there is something called a competitive analysis, which is always a good yearly and or quarterly practice to do in your business. And it basically looks like identifying who your top, let's say 3 competitors are that are really killing it, like they're awesome, or you lose clients to them a lot, or something in that effect. And then secret shopping them, you know, give them a call. What's their intake process? How do they answer the phone? What are they charging? Get a quote from them. I know that sounds awful, but people do it all the time. And there's really nothing wrong with you honing in on your skill based on existing information that's out there.
Okay, I think there was a question that I answered. They wanted to work with you, even though they are working with a mentor in SCORE. But the way that works is that your mentor will contact Brittany, and she has been a co-mentor with a client for me and was very valuable. And we work then as a team. So your primary mentor will bring in other co-mentors as needed. And we encourage our mentors to do that. So you can request that they request Brittany, and I'm sure she would be happy to help you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to, I can pop in and help for just a portion while you're still working with your other mentor. So exactly. I'm happy to do that. And transparently, I'm a very new mentor, so I actually still have to do co-mentoring before I'm released on my own here.
Exactly. Well, and Brittany did a great job over the weekend or last week with this client, and I appreciate her help. So
Awesome, thank you.
I think we are caught up on our questions. Everyone has your email address. It has been in a few times in the chat.
You're welcome, guys.
So go to Minnesota.score.org and request a mentor. That really is the best thing to do. Brittany, if you could click one more time on your screen. We have some closing slides one more time.
Yep.
And that is a reminder of what our Minnesota website looks like, Minnesota.score.org. You can apply for a mentor there. You can browse our library. There's lots of resources available to you. If you continue clicking, I think we'll get through this. And click, click, click. Keep going. There you go. One more.
Okay.
There, that's it. Last slide. I just want you to know that you will be getting a couple of emails as a result of this. One is the important one. It's going to have the link to the video, and it will also have a copy of Brittany's slides, but you'll get another one that is giving is a survey about what you thought about this presentation. I can imagine that we're going to get all 10s out of this one because it was outstanding, Brittany. You did a great job. But also there's a question there. What other topics are you interested in? I'm the education chair, and so I am always looking for suggestions. And if I get enough suggestions about a topic, I will absolutely make an effort to put one together. So thank you all for coming to this. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing your expertise and knowledge with us. And we look forward to seeing you all again at another webinar. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.